Hello, and welcome back to another Alpha Centauri Let's Play. Now, I just realized stuff, the OBS is doing weird things where, for no freaking reason, it was starting and stopping the recording instantaneously almost, where it would stop and pick back up like a second later. And then in the latest video, it cut out and didn't start back up. Just not 10-15 seconds before it was done anyways. Right, I spent energy on the rec comments here to hurry it so there'd be more flow to the recon rovers. Right after I think I'd moved this unit up here. I think that part hadn't been on camera, and then I turn and I pretty much checked to see if it was recording. For some freaking reason it wasn't. So I don't know what's with OBS doing that, and a couple of times it started. It could be something to do with how Alpha Centauri is not handling the memory correctly. All the more reason to eventually upgrade, or it could be because it was using the numpad to move units, since I didn't actually have as much trouble with this before. I've occasionally noticed it doing it with other games, the stutter kind of thing. It's rare, but I did learn how to usually further apart. There was like an 8 and a 7-minute segment. Last video I merged together, or not last, but the one before, which I guess I'll post as a little 15-minute micro video, but this shouldn't be happening. I apologize. On the bright side, it is teaching me a little bit how to merge and cut videos. Theoretically, I could have merged part of this one into that, but it'd be interesting to see if 15-minute video gets more first-time viewers. I think I might have moved like one unit at the beginning of the 2170 turn, so this might also be a chance. It's recording just fine. Might also be a chance to redo something if I made a mistake, didn't realize it. You never know. Things are happening. Monitoring age. Alright, I'm gonna actually want to do this because it's gonna have a solar panel. Want that to go. Well, I could do it with this base, couldn't I? But it has other things it can work. It's working that. So yeah. Minor optimization in that I could forget this. Make sure the production is efficient. Otherwise, this is about 10 golden age. It should have 6 nutrients. I'll keep an eye on that. Let's go. Oh, force expands. That didn't happen before. And a Mindworm attack. That also.
The entire character of a base and its inhabitants can be absorbed in a quick trip to the Wreck Commons. The sweaty arenas of Fort Legion, the glittering gambling halls of Morgan Bank, the sunny lovers' trysts in Gaia's High Garden, or the somber reading rooms of UN headquarters. Even the feeding bay at the Hive gives stark insight into the sleeping demons of Yang's communal utopia. Commissioner Pravinlal, A Social History of Planet.
While making a social history. Nice. So, on one hand, I got a forced growth I didn't before, and the other I got attacked by a Mindworm and lost a scout patrol.
Golden Age begun.
That sucks. Yeah, nutrients is carried over.
Terraform complete.
Where did forest expand? Looks like it's actually near the forest agency, and it lied to me about where. Cool. Well, mounting command. Yeah, it's doing a scout patrol anyways, so it'll take, after 10 years, I'll have the same number of scout patrols it would have before, and there's only a disciplined unit, I think, lost. The problem is the formers are a little injured. Hate that it screwed me over with that. Because again, that hadn't happened before. Well, pull in another scout patrol. Hope that they win this time. There's no way to get them to where they could attack. Because the Mindworm could technically bypass that and go right for the base. The scout patrol will have to defend the base. Unless I want to risk losing the alien artifact. These units can't be attacked, only have the Mindworms move adjacent to them, which then make the Mindworms easy to kill and an attack of my own. Fun. Oh, I know what was cutting it. Ah! One of the num keys says home on it. This wasn't because OBS is being unreliable. It's because like it's recognizing two different keys. I'm going to have to change the... I was using one on my keyboard that says home, but it's also pause, unpause thing. Unfortunately, one of the num keys is also bound as home, so I cannot move units up or left with the keyboard. Darn it. So there's double binding a key like that is a stupid keyboard layout. All right, this just annoys the heck out of me. I didn't realize that was happening. So, but then I wasn't moving units twice at once. But that might have been what happened before if I moved the unit up or left, is the point. That's my best guess. Although I wasn't, the start stop key wasn't even really working when I was in this game. Like I could press it right now and it wouldn't stop or start the recording. So I don't know what the heck. This is just frustrating. I could go this route. Yeah, I should go this because it's the third. Does it not matter? There's a chance to get bounced. If I go north and then east, I guarantee more units make it to Planetary Trust. These are both supported from the same base. Let's see if one makes it. Okay, yeah, one did, so then I don't. It's the insurance I could have moved the other there. To be absolutely certain. Can't lose either Planetary Trust or this. Because I can just keep pulling reinforcements if I keep losing scout patrols, and hopefully I don't. Maybe the Mindworm will stop to heal, and I can actually attack it next turn. That'd be nice. Get some planet pearls instead of just losing a unit for no reason. Maybe the defender will gain a veterancy. There could be a silver lining to this, is the point. But this is going to delay popping this because these units need to be ready to reinforce in. Right, and I want the hardened unit to defend. I don't need to make a designated defender, though. That could actually cause problems. If I get tapped by multiple Mindworms. You know what? Heck with it. Take the slight odds of that hardened moving in. I figured it would fail, but this at least gives me intel on the terrain around the pod. There's only a 1 in 6 chance of popping the pod. So there is somewhere a rover could disengage to, I think. Or no, they probably have to be on terrain that's not fungus to. Alright. I have a calling pod I was going to send here, so I definitely have to clear this Mindworm sooner or later. I guess with the Uni rover here, I could try and pop this next turn. I'm just going to at least attack stuff that's adjacent. I mean, the rover could at least attack stuff that's adjacent to it. It does seem that Mindworms come from all areas I can't see. There's Fog of War, because they'd come from there. Well, it's too little evidence to make a conclusion. Alright. On alert in case of Mindworms. I absolutely cannot be losing a calling pod just because I was being careless. This still is the Perihelion increased native life activity, I'm pretty sure. Which I believe if Alpha Prime is at Perihelion, double your value. So yeah, there's increased chance of not just worm spawns, but fungal blooms due to eco damage, which also spawn worms after the second, third, and beyond all spawn worms. Why are these trying to go there? No. Clear this tile. I could get started on a farm, then a solar panel for just one. No, I'm probably going to double back through there anyways. Let's get the farm mine done.
Turn complete.
production to this base and civil rights. Righty then.
Insufficient energy.
Wait, what? Why are they working?
Insufficient energy.
It's 22 for 9. So it's 2.5 each. Should have enough for not quite 4 minerals. Alright, I can't do a recon rover quite yet. Or it'll be wasteful. Wait a second. How much is a creche? It's probably 50 minerals. 5 more turns, 60 minerals. Yeah, definitely don't want to be. Well, I'll do another former. The reason why, and this occurred to me before, is that cutting back fungus effectively frees up units from worm duty to be on the board with the Spartans. That's probably a good idea. So one more former. Keep the population healthy and alive instead of worm food. And I'll let them do this because I need pop growth. So 2 more energy, one of which go to econ, the other go to waste. Some food. No, we can only work 1 more tile. Oh well. Now if I force there, I'd get an extra econ, but still. 2 more minerals eventually at the mountain command. Eventually have 6 production total. Could support a bunch of scout patrols. Right. Alright. Fingers crossed this doesn't also lead. Still recording. Good to check periodically. And check the time isn't song reset.
Production complete.
Well, the unit was attacked. Didn't gain any veterancy, unfortunately.
Construction complete.
Perfect. This will avoid, it'll have 18 minerals when the cost goes on 20. And I can just spam the recon rovers out. It's probably my last two formers. Really need military units. Oh no, there's another here. This is probably my last former unit. Might send to get down to border agency because I want to upgrade the minerals bonus anyways. Get support locally, and what would I have the base build? Probably just recon rovers. All right. Oh. Flat moist on a river. That's perfect for forests for now.
Terraform complete.
So remove the fungus, plant a forest. This is well positioned to grow forests right around forest agency. How fitting. Tile. The mine, I might pull these units both back in the planetary trust, and then I can heal up there for a sec while I prepare a force to have them just go to World Food Program. Maybe I'll build a road first. It's a minor risk. No, because 3. No, it's quicker to not. Yeah, let some heal. Why try and secure this area, scout around it and such. Look for Mindworms already in the area. Where are they trying to move? Periodically, these units that put on alert, they just decide to move to random places. I don't understand it. It always seems to affect those who are on alert, but in open terrain? Maybe I don't understand what on alert does well enough. Maybe it like goes to the nearest base and defends it or something. Alright. No, whatever. Ah, a monolith. Pretty sure this unit is out of movement, so already full health. See, yeah, it's silent. That's good. That's convenient place to upgrade. Closer defense command or mound command. And it removed a fungus. Boom. Extra food, extra yields. Make it easier to get a colony pod here where I could build one more base eventually. Not right now, but run some of these other tiles further out if they're not covered in fungus. I wonder if you can destroy monoliths. Destroy enhancement and work on them. I mean, probably not. Good idea. With how they help with getting experienced units quick. The current positioning. And maybe we'll put a sensor next to this monolith just to keep an eye on the coast area. Browse the deeper, goodness knows what. I think I have to remove the fungus to put a sensor array up, but not sure. Probably best to remove the fungus anyhow. On alert seems to work fine in bases. Not so well when units are stacked with others in the terrain. I don't know why. Alright, well, I didn't end up needing the Universe for that stuff. Should probably defend this. Former up here in the fungus. So mines galore. Lots of industrial workers to grow my industry. Building a proletariat to do things socialism. It's interesting to note socialism, Marxism, there's two components to it. One's fairly easy to implement, which is actually worker control of means of production, factories. The simplest way just being to turn things into workers' cooperatives, which are proven to work. More state planning can be harder to get to work correctly, but a lot of people who don't work at a business to still have some say in it because, it affects the community. Especially if it's more like a local democracy focus instead of highly centralized democracy that, if say, maybe some businesses technically belong to the national government, but decision making is done on a local level. Might be one way to make sure that regulations from both the top, but decisions making from the local government could, in case, a community starts doing things that hurt other communities, that way the feds can still step in. But the other aspect of it is commodification. And eliminating commodification, which is selling of things for money, and that's a much harder and longer term thing. The idea being that you reduce things just to their sale value. It helps contribute to things like alienation of laborers from their work, even if it's a worker cooperative, and various other problems. I don't understand this as well, and it's less well described by, Marxists, especially like people who commonly talk about stuff. Partly, you'll hear fewer people explain it, and this is partly because a lot of people, I think, haven't read a lot of Marxist work. They just read a tiny bit and think they understand it, or get it from other people. Basically, they don't actually sit and do the reading. So I may have to sit down with some of Marx's works. I don't even know if this part is in Das Kapital. I think it's in the Grundrisse where he discusses this more, which is one of his more advanced works that very few people read. I'm curious how he thinks that could be dealt with. He doesn't ever lay out plans for how to achieve all these things, but he gives thoughts on how a system might exist that doesn't have these problems, and then people create a political system from it. Several different attempts, from the democratic socialists, say Salvador Allende's Chile, that was couped by the CIA before it could build a long history, but it existed, to the Soviet Union. There have been many. The U.S., of course, worked to crush any socialist system before it could ever have a prayer of success. You can't argue that Chile got a fair shake when the U.S. instituted a coup there, and before that carried out economic sabotage and cut them off from trade, including a food trade. And there was local crop failures in Mexico at the time, which was one of Chile's main sources of food, and the United States was another, and so being cut off from U.S. trade, and the Mexican, there was a drought or something, so they no longer had surplus food to export to Chile. It led to Chile long has had hostile relations with Argentina, like way before it became for Allende, historical reasons. So it's better now, but back then it was still tense. So they couldn't really get food from anywhere is the point. And Chile is not an area that can support its own population without food imports. So they had food shortages, which is part of what destabilized the area enough that that the CIA can do a coup. But the food shortages were specifically due to U.S. cutting them off from trade. It can't even be blamed on socialism because they did not grow their own food. They never had. They sold stuff like copper and timber and bought food from other countries. And there was no problems with copper production, although the world copper prices happened to plummet around that time, like throughout the entire planet. so they had less money. The U.S. cut them off from food imports from the U.S. Mexico had crop failures, and then the CIA did assassinate people who would stop the coup before, and so they succeeded in one because economic anxiety plus, yeah. Some people say, oh, they had a famine. No, they didn't have a famine, but they did have food shortages, and that had nothing to do with socialism because, again, they were not a food producing country. They were a country that imported their food. You can't blame food. You can't blame crop failures in a capitalist country on that is Mexico, because Mexico was still capitalist. You right, you can't blame a socialist country for a capitalist neighbor having crop failures. Mexico didn't have crop failures because of Chile, and that's where they got most of their food historically. Their corn and wheat, but mostly corn. They would usually get wheat from the U.S., um, corn from Mexico, some corn from the U.S., and beef from both, and fish from Mexico. And yeah, they couldn't get that stuff anymore. Is the point? I think also Mexican avocados. Um, because yeah, guacamole in Latin America, that's a thing. Um, right. Got that and that working. Probably want the farm before the forest to grow the pop more quickly. Why is this space? Oh, recycling tanks. So yeah, I can have food surplus of 3. Theoretically, could work 1 farm and have 1 specialist, but probably gonna be farmer, forest, next to. Oh, kidoki. Oh, fine, ready, fine. You know, I could do 2 forests and work them both. And still have 1 food surplus in case of interruption. So yeah, I'll just focus on forests then. Your World Health Organization. This will get me the most minerals with the pop cap of 7. Since there aren't any more. I mean, I could do a farm mine on the moist tile, but it would be the same minerals and less energy, so it's pointless. So 2 more pops, 2 forest tiles, and yeah. UN headquarters by contrast. Miner here, miner here. At that point, I'll be size 4 with a surplus of 4. I could work 2 forests. And maybe 4 forests and all. We'll see. And the forest can be chopped down for more farming. Gene splicing, some of them. And once I have hap complexes, that'd be a long run thing for a specialist kind of. At first, I gotta deal with the freaking Spartans. I guess I'll just have him hold this position. That'll probably work. Cool. Right, this tile is in border Mindworm, so I can actually afford to. The calling pod's not exposed. Gives me visibility if Mindworm is there. If one pops, I may be able to attack it, and then fall back or something. Yeah, because one to move in and fall back away from the fungus. Cool, cool, cool. Getting kind of long here. Farm. Hold this position. Alright, farm and mine completed. Oh, damaged. But out of moves. The Scout Patrol can heal. Send the Scout Patrol to guard. And some Planetary Trust have a little bit of time. Probably before any more Mindworms, I'm guessing.
Turn complete.
All right. Looks good everywhere. Monitoring agency. Still working on that. Mount command just spams scout patrols. I don't actually need to queue another. It automatically start another when it's a unit. Polarization is doing its thing. Golden Age and I guess base tile output is not capped, unlike everything else. Recon rovers, so they can maybe dare to do a command nexus soon. Really need to queue something when I do a change of production type, not if I'm keep repeating. Game basically auto repeats production, which is a nice quality of life feature, really. Alright.
Production complete.
Another forest expansion. This time it said it was near the HQ. I think it was this one, maybe. Yep. Versus a farm solar panel. This gives one more mineral, one less energy, versus a farm mine just gives one more energy. So I'd say it's net pot. That's the best use of the land right now with the limited pop cap. Works out. Everything works out. It's nice. And it all works out. Another pod. Quite sure the Uni rover can't. It's already out of moves. Oh, no, it's not. When it's silent, it doesn't lose its movement. That's good to know. I guess failing to make a move. The third of movement did not. Failed tile. Let's cancel his orders. But yeah, it's here to back up this scout patrol if worms spawn. If not, do a little exploration. Cool. Colony pod. It's a weird little graphical glitch there. I think make it to this forest, I guess. I used to go into Centauri because there was not a forest there. But yeah, for units with a fraction movement, actually if they have a full, probably doesn't matter. Since so like rovers, they moved along the road. So if these units go here, or here actually, 1, 2, 3. Leaves them safe this turn. If your turn's exposed, they still can reach World Food Program at the same time. Right then. Build Hydrology Council and just be recon rovers for a bit. Research information networks. Seven years to a breakthrough. Commerce rate 1, income 0 return, gross income. Waiting to see what else my might is, but integrity, noble, might, formidable. Okay, yeah, it's mood is still ambivalent. But yeah, I probably have enough military power with the recon rovers to sway attack for quite a while. Of course, I also want to explore, and recon rovers can help with that. They're still rovers after all. And I'll give them experience. They fight the Spartans better. And see. Just give turn to heal. How is it they have a Scout patrol all the way from civil rights that came all that way. Must have gotten pulled to defend stuff and it just ended up. And tried that particular unit story. That might be interesting. Maritime Command. Civil rights. Designated defender. So the alien artifact definitely won't get attacked unless it's the last thing. Units in a base can go on alert. This one. Boom. Boom. Yeah. It's funny, some people complain about collateral damage in this game, but it's quite literally the main factor that exists to prevent people from infiltrating stacking units. And later games like Civ 4, they moved it mostly just artillery to do collateral damage, but here they have separate artillery bombardment, which has a similar effect. But without the artillery getting, damaged, the units can't shoot back. It's actually kind of stupid in Civ 4. The artillery actually have to get close enough. They have to attack. There's no ability to do collateral damage at a range. It's better designed in this game. It's works fine because it prevents stacks of doom in Alpha Centauri without the stupid 1 year per tile thing, which creates traffic jams and you're just trying to move units along your road network. They could just copy this system for Civ 5 and such. It was 1 year per tile was just dumb as hell. Just because some other game did it, and then some executives, probably people made Civ games. Oh, that's a great idea. Instead of letting the designers say no, Alpha Centauri had a better system, collateral damage, artillery bombardment, like in Civ 4, but any unit does collateral damage here. So you don't stat more than like 2 or 3 units in a tile usually. If you have a huge army, you attack across a relatively wide front, and there are zones of control too, which give you incentive to spread units out, so you can make it impossible for enemies to bypass you. Whereas the stack of doom would not only suffer artillery and collateral damage, it would also suffer not being able to inhibit enemy movement as much. This is how the system should have continued to work in Civ games, exactly the way it works here. Alright, this Unity rover looks like it's facing down. What was I sending it to? Off this way for some reason, maybe? Oh yeah, I was going to defend. I really am getting tired. This Formers unit. Move fungus, plant, forest. Save real quick, but I'm pretty sure you can't plant a forest directly.
Invalid terraform command.
Not until Centauri Psi, then you can directly replace. Okay. Remove fungus first, then. And then I'll plant a forest. Although without the energy limit, solar panels up here could produce 4 energy. A farm solar panel combo would be 2 food, 4 energy. Whatever. Probably even worth supply crawling at that point. Just got the 4 energy and not have the 2 food. That means you can get the same amount of energy with fewer workers, and workers past a very limited number all require 2 energy input in terms of just maintaining them with sake. So supply crawlers represent automation in this game. That's why if people don't like it, I swear they have something against automation, or they correctly realize that automation favors planned economy in the long run. When you don't have pops working tiles, the free market bonuses become pretty much irrelevant. I don't believe the supply cars got them, and even if they did, it would only benefit the supply cars if they're doing energy, and the slight increase in energy would not nearly make up for the industry loss. So planned economy is better when you have a highly automated economy. Fully automated luxury gay space socialism. But yeah, kind of for real. Which way to take a look at? Here or here? What did come from there? Let's go there. Let's have in this scout patrol. Pop over, take a look around, and fall back.
Turn complete.
Better to find an enemy before they find me. The more advanced Nosea, the better. Maybe if there's a Mindworm hidden, it might even lure it out into the open this way. What is it? Fully automated luxury gay space communism is what people say. That's the internet meme. But yeah, you can achieve that in this game. You can automate most of the menial work, and then people are just working as specialists doing jobs that maybe they enjoy more, like engineering and scientific research, and those kind of jobs actually are inhibited by capitalism as anything. I can tell you for sure, having been in sciences, that the profit motive is toxic to scientific research. There's a reason that academic researchers look down on those in industry, and it's not just because, oh, they're jealous or envious. It's because those in industry don't do as good research. Because profit motive forces them to always be thinking of the next quarter and not make longer term investments in discovering, big things. It leads to very only focused on minor incremental progress. In fact, there's actually already a problem with the pressure to publish, to get lots of publications, leading to incremental progress even in academia, but it's worse in the private sector. And arguably, it's always bad as it is in academia because that pressure is seeping over from the private sector and from politicians trying to force academics to force universities to be, quote, run like businesses, and boards of trustees at universities being full of literal businessmen. So it's very much a case of scientific research is more productive under socialism, not less. There are some things that might arguably be done more efficiently under capitalism, but research is not it. If you just basically automate all manufacturing, gotten it to perfection, and because you can only improve processes so much. It's no magic if I can make things infinitely more productive. No. Which I guess the supply cars represent the pinnacle of industrial automation. At that point, if people are all doing scientific research and engineering, things actually work better under socialism. It makes you would have higher productivity, and you would have a populace that's not getting screwed over by their bosses, and income inequality. You would theoretically have higher production, which the game doesn't represent, and you would definitely have higher consumptive efficiency. That is, socialism distributes resources more fairly, but also more ways that create more utility. A billionaire doesn't benefit nearly as much from $1 million as somebody who has a negative net worth that's in debt would benefit from $1 million. The money goes further, the less of it you have. So distributing wealth more evenly, if there's the same amount to go around, is unquestionably a better outcome. Yep. This is part of what Marx even talked about, is that as societies became more automated, the tendency towards socialism, it would be a more favorable thing to transition to. He thought would happen a lot sooner, but by the year 2172, and I'm not even ready to do that, there'll be a capitalist phase, so maybe by the year 2230, it's perfectly reasonable to assume that at that point, it would definitely be favorable.
Golden Age begun.
Also, capitalism suffers from a declining rate of profit. That only gets worse the more technology advances and the more the low-hanging fruit has all been picked in terms of investment. So, yeah. It's because, it doesn't always get worse, but many technologies result in pressures to make like big investments. They'll pay for themselves, but actually more slowly than previous technology did. So it's ever more expensive investments, which leads to a declining rate of profit. That's kind of, you can think of as the returns on investments that have already been made, is the rate of profit, as opposed to return on investment, which is new investments. So in the US, return on investments are like 7%, but the rate of profit is like 20, which is to say new investments probably fail around 2/3 of the time. When they do pay off, they bring in a rate of profit that's around 20%. You can basically multiply the return on investment by the reciprocal of the odds of an investment succeeding to get the approximate rate of profit of new investment. Of course, it's actually probably more than a third chance of succeeding, but lower than 7% ROI in many cases. The stock market has that, but that's often fictitious capital. Rate of profit goes down because the newer investments tend to have lower rates of profit if they succeed than the older ones that were the lower hanging fruit that were invested in first. Basically, as you pick all the lower hanging fruit. Oh, I was just trying to look it up. This is during upkeep phase.
Production complete.
But yeah, that's a bug fix to prevent an exploit, I guess. Good that that's in there. It's from the patch. Defense Command produced a successful recon rover prototype. Production costs reduced to 20 minerals. Nice. From now on, I have no use for scout rovers. They're just strictly inferior to recon rovers. So I probably should scrap that or mark it obsolete. I do have one of them. I need to keep producing these
Production complete.
for a while. Scout patrols, scout patrols. Might be a colony to produce from Maritime Command. It'll take a while, but yeah. Thanks this month, I can probably squeeze one more colony out in that peninsula. Colony pods are the most efficient small bases in theory, because the populus cost the least nutrients to replace. New ones often have less terraforming built up around them. Of course, small bases produce very slowly. It slows ROI a lot. Kind of depends how far stuff would have to move. Alright, an hour and 7 minutes. Save in case this causes a problem with the existing. Retire. Oh yeah, the one still in operation be obsolete. Still, so that keeps the existing scout rover in use, but just won't show up cluttering their face. Yep. So now on recon rovers, scout patrols. If I do 2 rows, might as well get mobility. I won't be daring to tap bases to have impact weaponry. I'm really lucky I'll get doctrine flexibility from that pod, and then I can switch this to a C unit of some kind. You know what? No, I can't do another base, but I will do an informer. Secure the, if I can cut back just 2 fungus tiles now, make Maritime Command much easier to defend. Alright. Much easier. This former skip turn. See, it randomly tried to move somewhere. Must be on Ori. It's go and try and garrison bases. That's got to be it. And my maritime command having more minerals, so scout patrol move up. Gets attacked. Oh well. Cool. The first recon rovers discipline, the rest will be green. What do you know? It's a monolith right here. Hardened. And failed to move. That designated defender. Move the Uni rover. Be able to pop that a little sooner if the scout patrol fails yet again. I've got the recon rover in the area. Right, the base is actually more valuable than the former.
Terraform complete.
So I want that rover to protect the... It's hard to kill in the scout patrol. Alright, and UN Quality Village? No, unfortunately not. No. The Spartans take a somewhat more aggressive approach in the border, which is quite unfortunate. I want a scout patrol for worms in police duty, plus it can be built quicker. Maybe to guard formers. This is so far from anything. I'll build a former. I need a sensor array and maybe some more around the border. And it's gonna be recon rovers. Probably have enough production of the other bases to deter attack for a bit. Until Spartans feel they're stronger than me enough. Am I doing for time? 75 minutes.
Turn complete.
Just patrol the scout. Row out in random directions to keep an eye out if worms can be spotted from adjacent. If they can't, maybe lure them out. Alright. Alright. Can't be that much longer on the weather paradigm. Let's...
Turn complete.
Yep, takes 10 so 50 minerals. That's what it contributes.
Insufficient energy.
Cost 136. Like, very expensive to hurry. Very expensive. I probably should wait another turn though. That should have. Let's then do that last.
Turn complete.
I'll leave the alien artifact right where it is. It also is useful for going here to allow these units to not get bounced by the fungus. If it spawns a worm, the scout patrol can always attack it. It's a backup defensive thing. Very low chance to win, but it's better than losing the base, maybe. I didn't see anything that would hurry. But
Request confirmation.
5 minerals for 11 energy. That's excellent. That is superb.
Request confirmation.
Yeah, let's do that.
Request confirmation.
And 2 minerals, 4 energy. I should probably do that.
Request confirmation.
4 for 8. So I have more overflow on the recon rover. Everywhere. Look. Recon rovers. Alright, well. That's enough for now. I hope you folks enjoyed this. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. And may you always find a guiding star lead you home. Until next time, it's Northstar. Adieu. And best luck.